Jamie, it's great to see you as always.
It's always good to see you as well. That means we're both still alive and well. You're working and I'm working.
Yeah, it's a good thing. But
it is a good life.
This is really a special weekend, and you come out from California, Heroes Homecoming in Fayetteville, North Carolina, to say thank you.
Is that where we are? I didn't know that.
Indeed it is.
No, yeah, I got to tell you, as I think Bill and Loretta have mentioned, I am overwhelmed by the passion and the devotion and dedication that this community has for veterans. I am also overwhelmed that the people, including your station, Channel 13 in Toledo, wanting to come here to do a taping of us at this event. I was so surprised that they even asked us, because you know when you shoot a show, a series, you're in this factory-like building, and you just do your thing, and you go out at nighttime, and you get in your car and you drive home, and you forget that what you're doing is going all over the world. And so when you leave 20th Century Fox, or you leave your home and you go someplace else after the show's been on the air, and you see all these people just clamoring for your autograph and wanting to take pictures of you, it's amazing. Well, the show's been off the air for 30 years, for crying out loud. And when they asked us, I said, well, that's a nice thing. There's a good connection to it. Okay, MASH, Korea. Right. But when we got here, I couldn't believe the people were so thrilled to see us. I felt the same way as I did when I first started on the show. Who knows, we're still around, you know? Reruns, I guess they're still so popular. Yeah, the people at that park yesterday, several thousand people.
A tremendous day.
Yeah, it was a tremendous day. I'm really overwhelmed, and I'm humbled by it, that they still are. And some of the little children, you saw the children out there.
I think someone said the newest generation of
Yes,
fans,
exactly,
right?
Yeah, wow.
I mean, you come up here and you talk with these gentlemen who have given everything to protect our freedoms, and the theme this weekend, the Forgotten War. I mean, your reflections on today, this weekend, and meeting all these people.
You can talk about it, and you can envision, but when you actually see them, the ones later that came up, when we were first out there to make the breakfast, some of the ones that were not so disabled were there, and you joked around with them. And then some of the ones later that came in that couldn't talk or couldn't move and were just totally immobile, and you could only really speak to them with their eyes and maybe a touch to let them know that you love them and that you do appreciate what they did. That really affected me very much. And also you don't want to, you're a celebrity, but you don't want to let them know that. I mean, I'm saying this sincerely to them, not that, hey, I'm somebody from Hollywood from a TV series. Right. They may not even know who the heck I am. I just want them to know that I love you and I thank you for what you've done for our country and our freedoms.
Yeah, and that they are appreciated.
They are indeed, yes. You got to keep letting them know that, because when it's publicized, it's great. There's a lot of hoopla and everything else. But there are those lonely moments when they go back and there's no one around, and they're in that room with the TV set, maybe even their loved one isn't there. Somebody's coming in, they give them a shot, or they have their food or whatever it is. There's a lot of downtime where they can reflect, and you got to keep reminding them, hey, you are loved, and we do thank you. Yeah. It's a constant thing.
No, that's well said. Maybe if they do have a TV, maybe they find a rerun of MASH.
You can't help but find a rerun. Thank God.
Off the question I asked Loretta and Bill, at what point, Jamie? Now, you're the guy coming in with the dress. At what point does that become an important show? I mean, you mentioned you got to make a living.
Yes.
You're finding work.
Right.
But at what point you said, this is really important?
I had no idea. I was so grateful. This is my 60th year in the business, and I had so many ups and downs, and I had been in so many shows that I thought, okay, this is the one that was really going to do something for me. I was just so happy to be working. And I really didn't know, and I knew that the people, all of us, were this wonderful family that Bill and Loretta had mentioned, and I knew that there was a special chemistry that was there. But the audience didn't find us. And the reason for that was it was in the wrong time spot. It was on Sunday nights opposite The Wonderful World of Disney. And The Wonderful World of Disney was a top show. I think out of 65 shows, MASH was number 59. So it looked like it was going to be canceled. And what happened was, the story is that Bill Paley, who was then the chairman of CBS, his wife Babe Paley, liked the show. And so she said to Bill, Bill, I like this show, keep it on. Now, if you're smart, you're married to Babe Paley, and you want a nice marriage, you're going to keep the show on, right? So what happened was, by coincidence, by purpose, we were moved to Saturday night, which was the greatest lineup in the history of television. I believe it started with All in the Family. I'm not sure of the actual structure of it. I think Mary Tyler Moore, MASH, Bob Newhart, and the Carol Burnett Show.
It was the must-see TV at that time.
Greatest night in the history of television. Nobody went to movies. Nobody went out to dinner.
There wasn't college football on
It wasn't college football on at that time either. And they jokingly, they said their other second Nielsen was that when the commercials came on that night, they knew that people were at home because they used the bathrooms and the water pressure would go down in all the cities. So that was another Nielsen rating, the plumbing. And that was it. And that's what really saved the show. People got to see it. And they said, hey, this is good. Yeah. And you want to know something? After 30 years, it's still good. It is.
Good is good.
Good is good. You're absolutely right. I tell people that, it doesn't matter. Charlie Chaplin, Laurel and Hardy, Buster Keaton, good is good. You laugh at it. Laurel and Hardy moving the piano up the steps. I could sit there and watch it and laugh many, many times. Yeah, it's a great show, our show.
But different than theater, and you all have had long careers and done a lot of theater.
I think that's another reason why our show was so good. Most of the actors, if not all of the actors, were theater trained. We all cut our teeth in the theater, and that's discipline. Learning your character and hitting your marks and being on time and doing 8 shows a week. I mean, that's a tough thing to do, but that's the Actors' Equity Rule.
What about dialogue? I mean,
dialogue, yeah. Well, that's another remarkable thing. We were talking about Harry and how much we loved him, and Harry was the oldest of all of us. And the man was remarkable how he remembered all that dialogue. I mean, they gave him monologues, speeches, pages of dialogue, and he'd have it. He was a very, very special individual to all of us. And here he was. Loretta was part of the original 6. It was Wayne Rogers, Alan Alda, Loretta Swit, Gary Berghoff, and Larry Linville. And I believe, let's see, who am I leaving out? McLean Stevenson, yes, of course. Of all people, you can't leave McLean out. And so that was the original 6. And then actually Father Mulcahy, the pilot episode was not Bill Christopher, it was another actor that played him. They brought Bill in, and he made such an impact on him that they wanted to keep him. I came in on the 6th show of the first season. I was so grateful just to get the job, because I wasn't working at all, and actually was desperate, paying rent and putting food on the table. And so I came in for that one day for $250. And had no idea that they would keep calling me back, and then eventually Bill and I were added to the show. But they were all so professional, so very, very good about it. As I always say, they did what William Shakespeare always had in mind: the play is the thing, and that's what they were concerned about. How can we make this not just good, but better each time?
Yeah. In closing here,
yes,
Gene.
Sorry, that's a phone call from Alan Alda. Sorry, Alan, we can't talk about you now.
I want to ask you, I'm going to tell you, and this is from the heart, we miss you in town. Okay.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this is from my heart, I miss all of you also. Yeah. Believe me, I do.
We'll see you again.
You bet.
Sweet man. And we'll be back in just a moment.